Many Australians are preparing to travel over Christmas for the first time since the pandemic began, but that means homes will be vulnerable to break-ins. To find out how technology can help, let's check in with Image Matrix Tech editor Djuro Sen. Djuro, how are you and how can you help us?
Good morning, Tim. I think I can help you by suggesting that you don't just get your doorbell camera like we talked about a couple of weeks ago. You've got to look at other camera systems that alert whoever's going to rob your place that they're there. So you're not just recording what happens, you want to actually try and prevent it. And so you're looking at things like this is the Uniden model. This is actually coming, this is already available. This is a great system. It does color at night. It's also a wireless situation where you can use solar power and you get all the relevant alerts, but you're able to use a siren, a light that lights up the backyard. It tells the crooks that they're going to be caught, and that is a good thing because the numbers have gone down over COVID in terms of break-ins, but as we go away on holidays, there's no doubt we're going to be seeing increased crime because we're not at home. So you can use bigger things like the wide ones with Uniden. This is a tiny thing. This is an amazing little camera. This is by Wise. Now, it's the Wise Cam Pro version 3 or V3, and as you can see, it's really tiny. And what it does is it's the same as a lot of the other larger cameras, Tim, and it is really, really good. So look out for that, just under $100. And you can get yourself a barking alarm like this one. So if someone comes to the house, you can have a massive dog speaker going, and as you can see, they can run off. There are actually a lot of those around, Tim, and they're pretty damn cool. So you can have a few options. You have cams that not only light up, you can talk to them, have sirens, as well as record, and you can have barking alarms if you don't have a dog. But fortunately, as you can see on here, this guy sitting down next to me is bigger than me. That is my Great Dane, and he's had a few careers jump through the roof when he starts barking. So he's our security protection at the moment. If you don't have all the technology stuff, but look at that stuff. That is going to scare anyone who's going to rob your place, because as we go away over summer, Tim, they're going to be looking at our places.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, the prices of them have come down extraordinary, haven't they?
It's amazing. So I've only just got, this has just come to Australia now. This is the Wise Cam Pro. This is made by ex-Amazon employees. And for $99, it does everything the bigger cameras like this one from Uniden does. This one's coming out next year with the 170-degree view. So that's $400. But this thing's amazing, so, and it can go up anywhere. So try it out. I'm going to review this over the next couple of days, so keep an eye out for that. So, Tim, yeah, the prices have gone right down. So you get everything there. You get the light and everything on that tiny little camera. So try and check it out.
Very nice. Now, while on the subject of travel, taking out insurance just got a whole lot easier. And look, one of the things in and around travel insurance, many people have the insurance already stacked on their credit cards that they don't even know about.
That's true, Tim, but what they don't know is what it actually covers, and does it cover COVID? So, yeah, I've had like an American Express one that's always had sort of travel cover, and I didn't really think about it, but I came across this app this week, and I've got to say it's pretty amazing because I've never seen insurance simplified like this. So this is freely, and as you can see here, it's launched here. It's in the US as well, but Australia and the United States have got access to this. You simply download the app. And quite briefly, as I go through it from this video last night, you set your dates, where you're going to go to. I said Barcelona next year. Tells you about the COVID stuff. You are covered for COVID as well. There are obviously certain restrictions about it, but if you go, I think, over 21 days in advance of your trip, then you're covered by the COVID coverage. But it's all these other bits and pieces that make it really easy. So $48 is, say, for a 5-day trip to Barcelona, right? But if you want to add other things, bits and pieces here to it, you can do it. So, for example, if I'm going to go skiing, or I'm going to go, horseback riding or whatever, or skydiving, you can add these as you go. So to me, this is the first time I've seen this whole insurance thing on travel simplified so much. And it's really plain language. It's pretty easy to understand. And I think by the end of it, you can say, all right, I'm going to go on this trip, Tim. Not only do I want to get covered for the trip, but can add bits in specifically. So I tried my camera. I got a bill of $302 because I added all my cameras A camera, I think it was $4.5 grand. So you can be really specific. So there you go. It's called Freely. Try it out if you're going on your next trip, Tim, and you can see quite clearly how much you have to pay. And I think the COVID coverage is pretty good. And as I said, all the language in there is quite easy to understand. So I've got to say, that's one of the best apps I've seen.
If you go horse riding, can you get me some vision of it?
Just like the New South Wales Blues a few years ago.
Oh, don't mention it, Wade.
It's a great idea.
Oh, here comes Djuro. He's riding Mr. Ed. Now, have you got any advice for people shopping for the new iPhone 14 Pro for Chrissy?
Now, I hate showing this because it makes people jealous, but I've got two of them. This is the 14 Pro and the 14 Pro Max, and most people are trying to get them for Christmas. And I've got to say, if you haven't ordered already, it looks like you won't get one because there are obviously delays out of China, but there's always been a wait for these. You know, a couple of months ago, we spoke about the initial backlog of the iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max. Well, the problem is, Tim, it's continuing. So if you order today, you're not going to get one until January for the most part. But what you've got to do, you've got to go through the Telstra sites, the JB Hi-Fi's, the Apple Store, and go through, and you'll try and mix and match to the particular phone that you want. And you might find one. Then you got to get on your bike and get down to that store and buy it in person. That is really the only way you can do it. And why are people getting so excited? Because the Pro version, Tim, is so much better than just the standard 14 phone that everyone wants a piece of it. It's got the 3 cameras at the back, and I'd suggest that if you want to wait for this phone, please do it. Or if you can find the 13 Pro or the 13 Pro Max, get that one because there's not too much difference perceivably for the public on that one, because I think you can find that around the place as well. But yeah, it could be a wait. So, but you've got to be quick. You got to order, find it, and then get down there and act because they are going so fast as they get pumped out in China. But Apple, at the moment, struggling to fill those orders because it's pretty popular.
What's your advice to me? Of course, I've still got the iPhone 8. Should I just sort of go through the early numbers before I start? I'll get to 14 in about 3 years.
What a legend. You still got the fingerprint sensor too. I love that. So I'd stick. I'm pretty surprised, man. I thought you'd still have the old suitcase phone.
Yeah, I've still got one of those at home. Now, look, I just wanted to change subject slightly. Like you and I predominantly spent most of our careers as sports reporters and covered some of the great West Indian teams, just extraordinary cricket teams. Watched them as boys and then covered them. And it's disappointing, isn't it? I know they're down on numbers, they've got injury in Adelaide, but to watch that amazing brand diminish to where they're at the moment, it's hard, isn't it?
It is hard, Tim, but to be honest, it's been happening for some time, hasn't it? And, you know, it's really manifested itself on this tour. And I saw your tweet the other day. It has been a sad thing. And I can understand the pressures that the West Indies are under with all the countries coming together. But the days of, I saw the greats play. You saw the great Clive Lloyd, Viv Richards, the Master Blaster, and, of course, Brian Lara later on, playing Curly Ambrose. You know, they were so cool. And I remember covering one of the press conferences at the Gabba, and you'd go there for 3 hours, and they'd say, "No, no, man, we're not going to speak before training." And then they go, "We'll speak afterwards." And then, of course, at the end of training, Tim, they do a runner. So it was just mad chaos to try and get a grab or two from Viv Richards and that. But it's hard if you went around to experience the cricket in those days. It is really hard to describe how massive the West Indies were. And you didn't mind getting belted by the West Indies because they were damn good.
Oh, absolutely. And it goes all the way back to, you know, where the Frank Worrell Trophy was born and the Tide Test match. So let's hope beyond hope that they do get back to where they were, the mighty West Indies. But we do have a great cricket test series starting next week against South Africa. This will be a ripper one because they are top of the pops, third in the world.
Yeah, just classic. And those South African Australian games are really tense and quite fiery at times. So I'm really looking forward to that, Tim. But I think the world of cricket can sort of try and help the West Indies. They need to because the talent there is always amazing. A lot of pressure from basketball over there. But, it's the summer of cricket, Tim. Looking forward to it. Hopefully I'll see you at the SCG soon.
Oh yeah, I'll be there, don't you worry. And of course, with all the sandpaper gate stories that are surfacing at the moment, it adds a little extra tinge to this, what will be a cracking series. It's Brisbane, then it's Melbourne, then it's Sydney, of course.